Hello, good morning. Welcome to our math workshop. Today we're going to continue working on our unit 7, fractions and decimals. And our teaching point for today is I can compare non-unit fractions. That means that today we're going to be taking a look at those fractions that has different denominator, actually a different numerator at the top than 1. So far we have been taking a look at those fractions that only have a numerator as 1. But today we're going to be taking a look at those that are different. So let's see. Today is Monday, May 25, 2020. And our lesson for today is titled Compare Fractions. I recommend that you pause the video now and get to copy the date, lesson name, and teaching point in your notebook just before we get to continue. In our last unit, we had the opportunity to compare unit fractions. In this case, we have 1/5 compared to 1/10. And if we take a look at the models, actually we realize that 1/5 is greater than 1/10. And why is that? As you can see, the denominators are the same. So this means that the deciding factor right here would be the denominators. If we take a look at 1/5, we can see that 5 is actually less than 10. So that means that the smaller my denominator is, the greater my pieces will be, because I will need to distribute to less people, let's say, in the case of 1/5 compared to 1/10. So that means that the smaller my denominator is, the greater my pieces of fractions will be. So keep that in mind when you compare unit fractions. And if we also take a look at the fraction bar, we're going to see that we have 1/5. But actually inside 1/5, we can fit in 2/5, actually 2/10, meaning that 1/10 is still way smaller than 1/5. And as we can see right here, 1/10 is actually half of 1/5. Now, in this case, we're going to be taking a look at those situations where we have different denominator, but we have the same numerator. In our last scenario, we had the same denominators and different denominators. So basically it would be the same. Now, if we represent those two fractions, let's say that we have 2/3 on the first case, we have 1, 2, 3 equal pieces of 1/3. But from these 3, I will only select 2, as you can see right here. And that would be the first one. Then on the second one, I have 2/5. And right here you can see that I'm supposed to have 5 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as I have right here. I'm supposed to select only 2 of these 5. So right here I have 1 and 2, and that would be my representation for my second one. Now, but which is the greatest one? If we take a look at the diagram right here, we can easily see that 2/3 is actually greater than 2/5. We have the same denominators, but guess what? The denominators are different. In this case, the fraction with the smaller denominator will be the greater fraction, okay? So keep that in mind. In the case that I have the same numerator and different denominator, the greater fraction would be that with the smaller denominator. Right here we have some examples. You can see that all of them have the same numerator and different denominators. If you take also a look, you will see that the greater symbol will be pointing at the fraction with the smaller denominator. Alright, because your distribution, your pieces will be greater, will have a greater size. Now, we have another case. What if my denominators are equal this time, but my numerators are different? So let's see. First, I'm going to make a representation for 2/5. Right here, I'm supposed to have 5 equal pieces, as you can see. And then from those 5, I'm supposed to select 2. So right here, I have my 2. Right? Now, I'm supposed to represent 3/5. What I simply do is that I take this loop and instead of selecting 2, I select 3. Now, if we take a look at the diagram, we can easily see that the greater one is 3/5. Why is that? Because this red loop represents 3/5. But what happens? 2/5 is inside 3/5. So that means that 3/5 is actually greater than 2/5, because the other way around, 2/5 wouldn't be able to fit into 3/5. So 3/5 is greater than 2/5. And why is that? Because we have the same distribution, the same pieces that are 5, but the amount of pieces that you're selecting in 3/5 is actually greater than 2/5. So when we have the same denominator and different numerators, keep in mind that the only thing that you need to consider which numerator is greater. So that will be your greater fraction. Alright? Right here we have some other examples where you can see that we have the same denominators. And right here we see that the greater than symbol is pointing at the fraction with also the greater numerator. So that means that when we have the same denominator, the greater fraction will always be that one with the greatest numerator. At this moment, we're supposed to try our Kahoot activity where we try 3 exercises targeting the 3 different ways that we can compare fractions. So I invite you to click on the link that is inside this presentation. So go ahead. And for our independent work, as I said before, for now we're going to be working on our thin central platform. That way, you can easily complete your activities. I can see how well you did, and you don't need to take any picture, upload anything. So just click on Monday, May 25, 2020 assignment in Thin Central, and that will do it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Alright guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson. That's it for all. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.